Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. Welcome back. This is part 6 of repairing the Zenith radio, and I want to really thank you for all the subscribers watching all these videos. Really, my goal is to create these videos so a brand new person can use the information and be able to get into the hobby. It is really a wonderful hobby and very rewarding to bring back something that totally dead back to life and sing again. I highly suggest to go back and watch the other part of this radio, which we spent time to fix 2 large crack and bakelite and also repaired a missing portion of the bakelite. We also start working on the chassis and installed new capacitor inside the filter capacitors. Coming up, part 6, we're going to install the diodes to reduce the voltage comes inside this radio because the tubes they get in very hot. And then we're going to work on the speaker. We're going to install dial string, and we're going to work on volume control wires because it's deteriorating, and then reassemble the clock. I hope you all enjoy this video. You all take care. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this diode in. This is 1N4004. And the reason I'm putting diode, as you saw, the radio worked very well, but I'm adding diode to reduce the amount of electricity goes inside the radio. As I mentioned in my other videos, that if the radio works anywhere between 80 volts and up, why should I put it 120, 122 volts inside the radio? The lower voltage, the better it is. That's again my thinking to save the tubes, resistor, capacitors. Especially, the oldest radios was designed for about 115, and now they increased it to 120, sometimes 121 volts. So I'm adding resistor. The place I'm adding this resistor, I open this up again, and right here where the positive goes inside the radio, not to the clock. The clock still needs that direct electricity to run. And this is portion is a brown wire, comes out of here. One goes to the clock, and the other side comes to the radio. So I'm going to add it right here. It goes to the tube. I already put this in this wire here. I already tested, and it works very well. As you know, each diode has a certain way you need to install them. So you can check that online. If you install it this way, you don't get that much power goes to the radio. So install it this way. So this side goes to the radio, this side comes from the line, the currents. So I'm going to make this thing easy. I cut one of the shrinking tube when I install it inside here. And so that brown wire. And then the reason I kept this here so I know which side it goes in. I'm going to make it loop right here. Make it like a pigtail. This is going to be soldered here. On the other side, of course, soldered to the tube. Again, you don't need to do this. The reason I'm doing it, just I want to reduce the electricity. Trying to save all this old radios. Okay, that should be fine. Now I'm going to move the heat shrink. Maybe install it in the tube, then I put a heat shrink, as this is so close to that portion. Now I'm going to put the heat shrink over all those. Again, I don't want to touch the metal. That's why I'm doing this way. Okay, see now I'm going to put this cover that's protected. So like that. It's not touching any metal. Let's put this thing together again. Okay. Now let's try it one more time. Make sure none of these wires they touch each other. And let's try it. Let me turn off the fluorescent lights. Radio and fluorescent light, they don't get along. As you know, tube radio take time to warm up before they work. Lights are on.
708-2822, 1-800-708-2822. This is Joe C, and I'm inviting you.
You see, the radio work, the only different thing is you adjust the volume a little more, but the tubes are not that bright. Because this one before the diode was so bright, and that put a lot of pressure on the tubes because of too much electricity goes in it. Right now, you know, the radio works pretty well. The tube is going to last much longer. Resistor, capacitor is going to last much better. So if you can drop the voltage, you know, you really help the radio. The only, again, different, you adjust a little bit more volume. You know, that's the only different thing. All right? This is working pretty well. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, what we're going to do next is this is original, believe it or not. So we're going to take this out. I'm going to use, I don't have any wax to wax it, but I'm going to use candle. You know, right now they're totally dry. I'm going to put some candle on it. Hopefully that's going to turn better. You see it has a little slag here. I need to fix that as well. So let's take it out. There's a little spring here. I don't want to damage this spring. So let me try this. Or maybe the easier to remove this and bring this down. See, I can't do this way, it's much easier. Let's count it. That is 1, that is 2. Or just a regular candle. And see, this all came off like that. I wish I had a wax, but I don't, but this will work as well. So you get it like this, just pull it. See, like that. Now the other side. That's it. See, cut the candle here. Okay. The reason I had candle because I want this, you know, be able to hold it better around that. Doesn't slip. So we need to make this thing a little tighter because as you notice it was a little loose. I'm just going to make a knot right here. See, I made a knot here. That's going to make it a little shorter. This diode strain broke off. You know, as you see, it's just fall apart. So I have this diode strain that I bought years ago, and I use this to wrap around this. And the way you know how to do that, you look at through the schematic here. It shows you is 1.5 turn here, another 1.5 turn here, and that's the direction that you're going. So that's already installed. The new diode string, as you see. I do the other one in turn. All right, so this is fixed. And I was trying to lubricate this volume control. So I took it apart, and one of the wires, you see the installation, I don't know if you can see it or not, the installation is all falling apart as well. It's a black wire, see this one? The other two, they're fine. So you have two options. One, to open everything, replace it. As you know, this is a small radio, it's going to take a long time to do that. Or use a heat shrink tubing, just put it over here, over this, which it will do the job as well. So let's do it the easiest way, because I don't want to take this apart again. So let me look for that. This is the heat shrink tubing, and it should be a good size. I already measured how much I need. So I'm just going to install this inside like that. That way I don't need to replace that wire. Take some of these tubes out so I can get to it. Alright, I'm going to solder this back into this volume control, then we are set. So I put that over there so I can't get to it, so this doesn't move. Alright, this is done. Alright, now you remember this one? It finished. It has all the marking, For the next person want to work in this radio, they know exactly what capacitor goes here. That's aluminum can. I'm just going to install this right over it like that. You press it down. Look. You can't even tell this was replaced. It just fit there perfect. Let's install this. The way they made this is pretty interesting. They had a cardboard like this, made open like this, and the wire goes in it. I'll show you how they put it together. So this goes inside like this. So like that. And just gently open this out. Be careful you don't break it. Like that. Goes over it. See? Then this goes right in here. Don't want to break this thing. I need to be very careful. And that's it. That's how I installed. This washer goes right here over it. Like that. I'll tie this thing. Alright. This is how it's originally look. See that? It's supposed to protect the wires from the heat, I assume. So at least you put it back together. As you notice, this speaker had a few cracks, and also there's a hole here. So usually when the speaker is like that, to protect it so it doesn't get more damage, I usually use, as you know, this glue, and already diluted with some water. And so I'm just using the brush, rubbing the glue over it. I'm going to try to fix that hole too. And the reason I'm using this glue is when it dries, it's flexible. And one thing I found out, it works very well with the speaker cone. I use it through the years, and they last for a long time. Otherwise, because these are so old, the paper is going to actually deteriorate and fall apart. As you see, there are some cracks and holes. Even there's a hole here too. So really that's all I'm doing right now. So just rub it like that. And you want to wait until it's totally dry. Usually it takes a few hours to dry. You don't want to overdo it. And there's a very light coat will do. You want to make sure to cover everything. I'm just going to even put some here too, because I saw some hole. I'm going to try to fix those holes. Don't want any dust goes inside the speaker, because there's a moving part, as you know, inside, and it's going to mess it up. And since the paper is so dry, it's absorbed this glue right away. It was a little small hole. I filled that up. All right, I'm going to wait, let it dry. When totally dry, then I'm going to try to fix this hole here. All right, this is next day. As you see, the speaker that I glued it is totally dry. And what I did, I have two of these. One is diluted with water, the other one is not. So as you notice, I use this for all the speaker. Then later on, I use one drop of this with the brush. Believe it or not, that glue already filled up that hole right there. And so then I use this pen, right? The Sharpie, I went right over the hole, try to make the color the same color of a speaker. So that's all I did to fix this. So we're going to put this together now. And the way you do, if you want to bring it straight, going ahead here, the frame, you have to go over above so it doesn't scratch anything. Then bring it down here. All right. Let's put this around again one more time. As you remember, 1.5 ton was that. Then from the bottom, 1, and gradually pull this up. Okay, it's fine. Now we put this screw in. This is ready to be installed inside the chassis. This is done. If I turn it on, see that turns. Okay, this is done, folks. Now let's put the clock together, and then we install both of them inside the chassis. All right, let's put this thing together. Already paint those white, and then use the black Sharpie when I touched up every area that you cannot see anymore. A bunch of paint was coming off, so it's already fixed. The way this goes in, this goes like that. This goes over it like this. You want to be gentle with this. You don't want to damage it. Press this down. See these pens here? You just bend it. Be gentle with it. Okay. This is it. It's put together. It's looking good. That's the back cover. This wire goes through this hole. Alright, like that. I put this nuts over so I don't lose it. Washer and nut. Always best when you take stuff out, put it back so you don't lose them. All this clock is being restored, like the radio being fixed, really. I should say fixed, not restored. Alright. And put the washer in first, then the nut itself, like that. Alright. Not too tight, actually. Just enough to do. Alright. This is done, ready to go to the radio. Later on, of course, I want to clean the lens here. I already cleaned it inside. Looking good. Let's get the chassis. I want to take the opportunity and thank you for taking your valuable time watching these videos. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when new video being uploaded. You have a great day.